Alrighty, guys, I'm now 17-3 in my last 20 board member tier package bets on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And that's good for 85% during that span. And if you want to see a video breakdown of every single one of my personal sports bets here today, you can do that right now by becoming a board member on my website. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my college basketball free pick video here today for Saturday, March 18th, 2023. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're not too hungover today, as this is the day after St. Patty's. I'm sure a lot of folks will be incapacitated. But anyway, as always, my name is Brock Page, and I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, I'm 17-3 in my last 20 board member tier package bets on that site. And not only do board members get access to my board member podcast every single day, you also get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day until April 1st. It's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free plays on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, I currently have over 565 members who are signed up and active on that site right now. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at Furman squaring off against San Diego State, 12:10 p.m. East. San Diego State's -5, totals 138. Now, the Aztecs may have their hands full with Furman here today. The Paladins are coming off a first-round upset of Virginia. Now, Furman's also on a 7-game winning streak, and they score more points than most teams in the tourney. These guys are actually a top 10 scoring team in the nation. Mike Bothwell scores over 17.5 points a game. He also makes 51% of his attempts from the field. Meanwhile, Jalen Slauson, he averages over 15.5 points per contest. He also makes just about 40% of his three-pointers. Now, they're facing a San Diego State team who failed to cover in 5 out of their last 9. Failures to cover against the likes of Colorado State, Boise State, and New Mexico. When it comes to offensive production or lack thereof, the Aztecs have been held to 67 points or less in their last 6 straight. Now, total-wise, no real surprise here. San Diego State actually saw their last 9 straight outings stay under the total. Meanwhile, Furman saw unders recently against the likes of Mercer and the Citadel. Give me Furman +5, under 138. Next contest, not on our big screen for some reason, but it is going to be Duke taking on Tennessee, 2:40 p.m. East. The Duke Blue Devils are -3, totals 128. And speaking of the total in this one, the Blue Devils saw unders in 4 out of their last 6. Unders against the likes of Oral Roberts, Virginia, and UNC. Now, Duke's also 7-2 to the under in all of their neutral site contests. Meanwhile, for Tennessee on the other side, they've gone 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Unders against the likes of Louisiana, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. When it comes to defensive play, both teams have played some incredibly tough defense this year. Tennessee limits their competition to just 57 points per contest. Meanwhile, Duke's a top 20 defensive rebounding team. So when it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my college basketball tier package bet on my website. So if you want to see whether I like Tennessee catching 3 points here, or if I like Duke laying the bucket, the best way to find out is to sign up for my college basketball tier package bet on my website. But if you want to see a video breakdown of every single one of my personal bets on that site, your best option is to sign up for my full access, all-inclusive board member package. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, give me the under 128. Next game, Arkansas, Kansas, 5:15 East. Kansas is -3, totals 143. Now, the Jayhawks won 8 out of their last 10, and they've gone 6-2 at neutral sites this year. When it comes to defensive play, the Jayhawks are allowing only 67 points a game. Kevin McCullough has 67 steals on the season and 23 blocks. Now, the senior is also scoring double-digit points a game. Meanwhile, Grady Dick, he shoots 40% from three-land, and Jalen Wilson averages a team-high 20 points a game. Now, they're facing an Arkansas team who failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5, and they've been little threat shooting it from three-land. These guys make just 29% of their three-pointers away from campus. Now, injury-wise, Cam Martin's still banged up for the Jayhawks. Keep an eye on him. When it comes to the total, Kansas went 7-1 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, Arkansas saw unders against the likes of Illinois, Texas A&M, and Tennessee here recently. Give me Kansas -3, under 143. Next game, Princeton, Missouri, 6:10 p.m. East. Mizzou's -7, totals 148.5. Now, I do have some concerns about Missouri's defensive play. These guys allow 75 points a game, and they're in the bottom 30 in the entire country in defensive rebounds. When it comes to covering the point spread, the Tigers failed to cover in 5 out of their last 9. They're facing a Princeton team who covered in 8 out of their last 10 themselves. And they actually find themselves in the top 10 in the country in offensive boards. Tosan Ibumwan, he grabs nearly 7 rebounds a game. He also leads the team in points. Meanwhile, Matt Alako scores double-digit points a game himself, and he's drilling just about 40% of his long balls. Now, total-wise, the Tigers went 70% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Missouri saw overs against the likes of Tennessee, Ole Miss, and LSU. Give me Princeton +7, over 148.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Auburn squaring off against Houston, 7:10 p.m. East. The Houston Cougars are -5, totals 132. Now, it definitely feels like Houston's the toughest team to score on in the tourney right now. They allow only 56 points a game. They currently lead the nation in defensive field goal percentage. They're actually holding their competition at just 36% shooting from the field. And no real surprise here, guys. They're holding their competition to just 27% shooting from beyond the arc as well. That's lower than any other school in the country besides Tennessee. Jarris Walker, he has 36 blocks on the year and 34 steals. He's also second on the team in points. Meanwhile, Marcus Sasser, he scores a team-high 16 points a game. They're facing an Auburn team who lost 6 out of their last 10, and they've been little threat shooting it from long range. They were actually held, they were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the SEC. When it comes to defensive play, the Tigers did struggle at times grabbing defensive boards. Now, total-wise, Auburn saw unders against the likes of Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. Meanwhile, Houston went 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Give me Houston -5, under 132. Next matchup, Penn State, Texas, 7:45 East. Texas is -6, totals 139. As good as the Longhorns have been here recently, they do have a losing record against the point spread away from Austin. And more recently, Texas failed to cover against the likes of Baylor, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech. And when it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Longhorns have had their issues in that department as well. They're facing a Penn State team who covered in 8 out of their last 10. They're also 8-1 against the number in their last 9 neutral site games. Seth Lundy's drilling 40% of his three-pointers and currently ranks second on the team in scoring. Meanwhile, Jalen Pickett, he scores over 17.5 points per contest. That's a team high. And for those who don't know, Penn State's a top 5 three-point shooting team in the entire country. Now, total-wise, Penn State saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line. Meanwhile, Texas saw overs against the likes of Baylor and Oklahoma. Give me Penn State +6, over 139. Next game, Northwestern, UCLA, 8:40 p.m. East. UCLA is -7.5, totals 126.5. And even though I'm not a huge fan of this number here, I think the Bruins can cover the point spread. They're 7-2 against the spread in their last 9. They're in the top 5 in defensive points per game. UCLA allows only 60 points per contest for the entire season. Meanwhile, Jalen Clark, he has 78 steals on the year. He also scores 13 points a game. And of course, when you mention UCLA, it's all about Jaime Jaquez, who scores a team-high 17 points per contest, really gets it done on both ends of the court, underneath the basket. He can dish it. He can shoot it. Now, they're facing a Northwestern club on the other side who lost 4 out of their last 6. And they averaged only 65 points a game during that stretch. When it comes to offensive production, the Wildcats are in the bottom 25 in shooting it from the field. These guys are barely making 40% of their field goals this year. And when it comes to the total, Northwestern saw 7 out of their last 10 stay under the number. Meanwhile, UCLA saw unders against the likes of Arizona, Oregon, and Cal. Give me UCLA minus 7.5, under 126 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Maryland taking on Alabama, 9:40 p.m. East. Alabama's minus 9, totals 144. And as good as Bama's been, I do think Maryland can at least cover this number here. They're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. Covers against the likes of West Virginia, Penn State, and Northwestern. The Terps are also in the top 25 in defensive points per contest. They're actually limiting their competition to just 63 points a game. Jahmir Young has 43 steals on the year and 13 blocks. He actually leads the team with over 15.5 points per contest. Meanwhile, Hakeem Hart, he's scoring nearly a dozen points a game. The Terps actually have 4 guys who average double-digit points per contest. They're facing a Bama team who was one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the SEC. When it comes to covering the point spread, the Crimson Tide failed to cover in 5 out of their last 8. Now, injury-wise, Brandon Miller is questionable for the Tide. He's battling a groin injury. When it comes to the total, Bama saw 4 out of their last 5 stay under the number. Meanwhile, Maryland saw their last 5 straight stay under the total themselves. Give me Maryland plus 9, keeping that one close, under 144. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me Furman plus 5, under 138. I like the under 128 in the Duke-Tennessee game. Kansas Jayhawks minus 3, under 143. Princeton plus 7, over 148.5. Houston minus 5, under 132. Penn State plus 6, over 139. UCLA minus 7.5, under 126 and a hook. And with my next and final free pick, give me Maryland plus 9, under 144.